Good evening and welcome to the Heritage Commission meeting. Thank you for everyone in the audience and for those of you watching at home. It is Tuesday, September 16th, and it is 6 p.m. I call the meeting to order.
We'll go ahead and do a roll call. Ms. Cat Glenn?
Here.
All right. Ms. Murphy?
Here.
And Ms. Willis?
Here.
All right. You have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess we need to approve the minutes from August 19th. Has everybody had a chance to read those?
I did.
I just noticed that there was one misspelling of Helen Hersey's name on number 5 under Change Heritage Commission Chair. Everything else was fine. Did have a question on the Chautauqua event in Papa Museum on page 2 of the minutes. Did we schedule it for the 23rd and 24th, or was it the 3rd and 4th?
I'll have to go back and look. I don't
Okay.
have my notes with me.
Okay.
I might put it in the calendar.
My notes said the 2nd and 3rd because the 23rd and 24th is Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
And I'm thinking we probably wouldn't have chosen that date because it would be very difficult to get volunteers.
And that's May of next year.
Correct. May 20 of 2026.
Okay.
Those are the only two changes. Can we get a vote on the minutes?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes with the changes to Helen's name and to the dates for the Chautauqua for April 19th.
Second the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, old business, 4th of July contest debrief. I had sent a copy of that to the city manager as well as to Wendy. Andrew, did I give you a copy of that?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give it to you now. We had discussed the Chautauqua event and the pie contest events and the field trips, and we talked about them, but we didn't formally write anything up. So with that, I went ahead and wrote something up about what went correct, what was not working well. And if you could read those over and next month, then just let me know your thoughts if there's anything else you'd want to add. Okay? I know you weren't here for that, but it'll give you also a more detailed look at those events and what goes on. Okay? So that's the same with the Chautauqua debrief, the comments, and the field trip for the 4th grade. Onto the inventory project, we need to set a date to move everything to air-conditioned storage. I'm thinking January 2026. That'll get us through all of the holidays. And most of us then will have some freer time in January to sit down, start to categorize some of the things that we have, and then shift the things that need to go into air conditioning. We've moved everything from the back wall here, but there's still a lot of artifacts that need to go into air conditioning because we have the space, so we might as well be using it. Can you look at your calendar and see if there's a good date
Do we need more than one? Or
more than one day?
Yeah.
Yes, But we need to start
All
somewhere.
right, can we go middle of the month
Okay.
to start, middle of January? And do you want to do it during the week or do you want to do it on the weekend?
I'm thinking during the week, if we can. What time do you normally get off work? Okay. It'll be dark then. Do we want to just spend a Saturday morning, like say 10 to 1, or 9 to noon? I mean, we got to put a start and end time so that we're not there all day, but we have to start making a dent into this.
Can we
So-
do the 17th
Okay,
of January?
yeah, that works good for me.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
9 to noon? 9 to noon?
9 to noon, how about that? January 17th. 9 to noon. All right.
Where is that? Where's it currently stored at that you're moving from?
Right now, we have, most of the items are in the, I guess what they used to call the old,
Old Public Works?
Old Public
Okay.
Works. It's on Magnolia.
I've been in there. All right.
Yeah, and a lot of the things in there don't need air conditioning. As long as they're, out of the elements, they're fine.
Right.
But there are several things that really should go into air conditioning, like paintings and things like that.
Okay.
So, we will, address.
Just wanted to make sure I knew the area you were talking about. I have been in there recently, so I understand where you're.
Okay. Status on the plaque for the Cadman House was an invoice mail.
She was working on it today.
Okay.
The budget did take precedence, so I don't know if she got it
I can
finished.
understand that. Okay. We do have an application, a new application. Have you received that yet? I got a call from Rebecca Williams on 120 Citrus. She's the accountant.
Right.
And that property was C. Ray Lawrence, which was a relative of John Lawrence. They're two different people. But Ray Lawrence is who had outlined the streets in Keystone, and he was the architect behind the layout of how the streets and all were. So he lived there, and his wife was actually a Walraff. So, you'll hear those names come up over and over again, these 5 families that came here to Keystone Heights originally. So I know that is an item on the next page, but I thought I'd address it now. The Christmas wreath project, we scheduled to meet on November 22nd to kind of fluff them up, and then we'll put them all out, and that'll be the weekend before Thanksgiving. So
Are we meeting here?
we're gonna meet here, and I'll make sure that I'll work closely with Wendy, and we'll have all the wreaths here. But the wreaths are an example of what should be in air conditioning, so that they don't get yicky. Well, we used to store them at the new Public Works building, and rats got in there and ate them. So, on to item number 11, the Estiers Festival at Goldhead Branch State Park. I talked with someone last week about that. They got back with me yesterday. We do need an application, of which they sent to me about 10 minutes before I came over here. So we have the application. And I just thought that it is only one day. The date is actually January 31st from 9 to 3. And I thought I would just do it because I think that we want to be highlighting Keystone's Heritage Commission as much as possible. And it is a yesteryear's event for Clay County. And it is in the, where did I see it? In the Clay Today, this magazine. So I thought we really should participate in that. But they have a group called the Friends of Goldhead State Park, and they're the organization that actually puts it on. It's not Gold Head itself. So I'm working with them. I'll fill out the application, I'll get that in. And really, there's not much for us to do. We just need a table. And then, like I said, it's the coldest day of the year. It always is. But bundle up, and if you can make it, great. I will definitely be there.
Can you use my pop-up?
Oh, that'd be great. And we just need to bring the normal things that we set up for the Heritage Commission. And, you know, just some flyers and things like that that tell about who we are and why we are looking to preserve things in Keystone. Let's see, item 12, fourth grade field trip. I talked with the teachers over there at the Keystone Heights Elementary School. They have a date, April 23rd, 2026. So that is our goal. I have reached out, I think at least 4 times now to McRae. I haven't heard anything back. So it might just be that they're short-staffed. I don't know. At this point, we'll just continue with working with the Keystone Elementary for now. The Chautauqua event and pop-up museum. Again, we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. May 2nd and 3rd. In the past, it was in March, but I think May is a great.
Maybe less rain.
Yeah, it might be. It's going to be a little warmer too.
drier.
And then, a little drier. So obviously, that is a Saturday and a Sunday. We set up the day prior to, and then we take down that would be then the 4th of May. And we'll schedule that with Public Works to move everything over for the museum. And the Chautauqua event itself, we're gonna need to have a conversation about that. It's on the next page. But basically, we're going to need to figure out who our speakers are going to be and what Chautauqua is gonna look like. I did go to a talk with Christine Arnold. She gave a talk in Penny Farms last Thursday, and it was wonderful. So I'm going to ask her certainly to be one of our speakers. And I learned a lot more about Chautauqua myself from that. And there was the audience there was everyone from the Penny Farms Museum. So there had to have been at least 25 people that came to that talk. We just need to set up speakers, and really I'd like to see a lot of artists, more artists, and embracing the whole Chautauqua theme. The tour of homes is scheduled for December 5th, 2026. That seems like a really, really far away. So we don't have
before we know
right,
it.
it will be before we know it. But the main decision there, and we don't need to decide that today by any means, but we just need to come up with 6 homes, really. The mural project, the ribbon cutting is scheduled for October of this year. It looks like, you know, the leaves are on the trees. The moss is hanging from the trees. They're really detailed as far as the symbol of Keystone Heights. I mean, it looks fantastic. So there's just a few little minor details I'm thinking that we're missing. They've got to put in the alligator yet and some of that foliage, but that project is
They haven't finalized when in October yet, have they?
Tentatively the 18th, I believe,
It's the
is what
18th,
we were just, but it all depends on the muralist progress. So
Completion.
He
we're
told
always
me
saying
he would-
tentatively, so.
He said he would be long done by then, but I couldn't remember the date. Thank you, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Fort 11, Fort 11 update, item 16. Back when I was on the Clay County Preservation Board, I had started trying to get a marker for Fort 11, which we believe is located across the street, somewhere in the nature park or south of the nature park, maybe in between, historians have said maybe in between where Nina lives and the corner of Jasmine there, but they can't pinpoint it exactly. Since I'm no longer on the preservation board, that project was given to Jerry Gerard, who is an amazing historian. He went up to Washington, D.C., went through all the archives there to study everything about Fort 11. He has layers of maps with overlays on where they think it might be. And so he was having problems with his computer and could not send me all of the verbiage for the marker. So I reached out to Beth Carson, who is the city planner, and she really helps the Clay County Preservation Board with everything. She's the Wendy for the Clay County Preservation Board. And so she is out of town this week. That's what her email said when I got that bump back. But she will send me a copy of what that verbiage is, as Jerry is going to India for apparently a month or 6 weeks or something like that. So once we get that detail of what the markers should say for Fort 11, then we need to come up with exactly where we would want that sign to be. And it would be those big black markers that you normally see on the side of the road, very similar to the one that is in the center of the park over next to the gazebo for the Stork Inn. There's some considerations. It has to be like off the right of way. Can't be like right next to a sidewalk or anything like that. And there needs to be ideally parking. And so if we had it right at the park in the center, or close to the road, kind of where the that fence is, the post fence, somewhere like that, then there's parking in that park.
Right.
And then the Keystone marker, as I was mentioning to Jerry when we had a conversation, he was like, well, you don't want to have all your markers in one spot, right? And since we're working on the Keystone Heights marker, that will eventually go to the corner, of 100 and Lawrence. So there should be, they'll be all separated. We do need to, if we jump to number 17, we do need to come up with a business plan for the museum to kind of support the strategic plan. Kim, I know that you're good at this kind of thing. So I was hoping that you could help me with a business plan. Or at least get started on that so we can come up with a time for us to get together and work on the initial outline of what that would look like, and then we can bring it back and just kind of massage it so that we can present something to everyone on the city council.
Set that up and I'll just bring my laptop and.
Right. Number 18, we briefly talked about this on page 1. We need to develop a marketing plan for the Chautauqua, and that really would be, where do we want to advertise, what do we want this event to look like? Obviously very similar to what we had last year, but more. And since last year we had the rain and all of that, it really prohibited us from having a lot of things outside. But this year I'm thinking, because we've moved it over into May, we should be able to have more artists out here doing, plein air kind of art, watercolors and oils and acrylics and caricatures of, what Florida looks like. So that would be kind of the theme. We need to work on speakers and advertising. We do have enough money in our budget to advertise. Do we want to put something in the Clay Today? Obviously, we'll run something in the Herald and Keystone Herald and possibly the Monitor, Facebook, the Marquee. But we really, and last year, we did a good job. We got a lot of people there, but it was really it was not advertised well. And that was one of the things, if you look at the debrief, we did not advertise it well. But because we didn't know, we just didn't know what to do. This was our first, but now we've learned from that experience. And so we know to advertise well in advance. We should start off with 3 months in advance at least for paper, and then hit again the month prior to, and then the week prior to, that kind of thing. And of course, Facebook. And then get the word out to all the organizations in the community, such as Kiwanis, Friends of Keystone, and the Women's Club, the Garden Club, that kind of thing.
I don't know if Drew and I had the opportunity, losing track, it would have been last Thursday or Friday, to sit down with the director from Tourism Clay. And they have grant opportunities for events, particularly focused on the advertisement portion of it. Now, there's some other offsets. It's usually not necessarily the execution of the event and the things at the event, but it's really trying to, how do you draw more tourism in? And so I think they focus on, one of their grant opportunities is that advertisement. So it might be something to consider and look at. I know Drew has got some expertise because she's looking at it for some of the other city events. And so just wanted to mention that.
I'll reach out to Drew and talk to her about that, because it's very important. And Drew was instrumental last year in the Chautauqua event, and I know she will be this year as well. But having her on the front end is going to be important, really important, and obviously the advertising is the very front end of getting the word out on Chautauqua. So
Are y'all staying more on the targeting of local, let's say, Lake regional attendance, or are y'all looking broader this year
Broader.
than from last year? Okay. And maybe that's what it is we try to, I say we just broader.
Well,
the
it's in
community
Clay
tries to try
County.
to get further out with that advertisement effort. Okay.
And it's really a Clay County thing, because, as, everyone in Keystone understands, we're at the tip end of the county. And so we don't really get a lot of the focus that, obviously a city in the middle of the county, such as Orange Park or maybe Fleming Island, they get, a lot of advertising. And we in Keystone Heights have so much to offer. And I think that this event really has such a broad audience, the type of people that would come, yes, children, but we also have so much to offer adults. And, it's kind of a public speakers are educational. We have a spiritual component. There's it's kind of a 4-pronged, 5-pronged event. And I think that there's just a lot that this event would offer, in addition to the museum, pieces. So I think they really go well together. So I'll reach out to Drew. Thank you. The new plaque application, where we talked about that. So we should be getting the actual application in from Rebecca Williams. He called me, but he said he didn't know how to fill out a lot of the information, because it asks for some history on the home, and he didn't really know the history, so I felt like he couldn't really fill it out. So I told him to just bring in the application or email the application in, and that we can look at it as a commission and help him fill in the blank pieces, and that he could get a plaque for his business residence. Because it's actually a business, but it was a home. And then the Heritage Commission Procedure Manual. Back in the day, we did have a manual that looked like this, but it was so outdated that no one ever used it. No one, I don't think that you even
Had no
clue. John never got one, and the other commission member before never got one. So it kind of lost, got lost in the way. But it's very important because everyone that serves on the Heritage Commission really needs to understand what our focus is, what our mission is. And so I wrote an introduction to who we are, what we're about, and then we have a table of contents. Everything is tabbed thanks to city staff. Thank you guys, you put all of this together for me. Appreciate it. And really this historic survey that was done back in 2011 by Murray Laurie is everything you really need to know about the Heritage Commission. And so this is the last item inside the manual, but it talks about all of the architecture of the homes that we have in Keystone, and about our history and what preservation is really all about. And so reading this, then go back, read the rest of the stuff in the manual, which is more procedural. But in a nutshell, the way the city has everything set up now is fantastic. Jamie, you being at the helm, and then Wendy handles everything that's administrative and anything that you would need to know. And then Drew really handles anything that's events. So they're divided and conquered here. It's great, because before we never knew who to go to for what. And this makes it very easy. There's a real dividing line, and it just makes our job so much easier because we do put on a lot of events. And we need to know who to talk to about each thing. And thank you again. I don't know what I would have done without y'all putting that together. Next month when we come back, let me know if this was helpful. I'd just like to know your comments on that. So now we're on to, before we talk about public comments, there's also, what's missing on here is member comments. So I'd like to have the member comment, anyone who wants to say or add anything. I think everybody on the council, or commission rather, should have an opportunity to say what they're working on or what they would like to see.
I wanted to go back because I had some questions when I read my notes in the previous agenda about the sunshine law. We did pull that forward, and my notes basically had talked about us putting a link together or something together to do that education so that we could email that out, and then it becomes an honor system, I think. But we need that link. So if we could add that back in.
Sunshine, okay.
Yeah. It was, I was thinking it was the state has an educational tool or
Yes.
something out there for us, so we just need to get to it.
Right. I'll follow up with Wendy on that.
Since we're on that topic, if you don't mind, think we did this in the planning and zoning meeting. We had Rich Commando, our attorney, and one of the things he wanted to remind new board members is particularly about the communications outside of a public meeting for any governing body. And that's probably one of the key things in the Sunshine is all the discussions for let's just say for the Heritage Commission have to happen in here in a public event that's been noticed. And so I will point to a recent example. I don't know if you heard about it on the news. The St. Augustine Airport recently, over the last few weeks, had 3 board members that were forced to resign due to Sunshine Law violations of potentially communicating about board issues outside of the actual public meeting. And I don't know the specific details on what they did, what was proven, what was not. I do know they all resigned ahead of legal action. And so it is, and so
It's a real thing.
it's a real thing. And so we do want to make sure we're facilitating y'all's education to get through that, that hour, that 4 hour, wherever it's required. And so but I did want to take the opportunity to talk it. I'm going to do it in each of our meetings. I did this last week at the airport authority meeting, which that probably hit a little more home with another airport board having a problem. But I think it bears repeating. And there's a lot of other things that are in the Sunshine Law. That is one of the big ones that's out there that we all have to pay attention to.
And I took the class, I went online, I did it. And it's real easy, and I went through the link, and I don't know why I can't find the link now, but it was real easy, and because we're not on the council, we don't have to do the 3-day, course and all of that. Ours is literally 20 minutes, and you're done. In a nutshell, what I got out of this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's not that we're in the middle of doing an event and we can't talk among ourselves about something. It's more anything that we are going to vote on. So if we're going to vote on something, be it minutes or anything, that is where you get in trouble. If you're standing outside and we're chit-chatting about that, that's a no-no. You can't do that. Everything needs to be in the public eye with regards to any conversation about something that's going to be voted on. Now, if we're doing a 4th grade field trip event, we were huddled over here, how many waters do we need? That's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
So there's a very,
Doing the 4th grade field trip and having the vote to agree to do it, yes.
yes,
Putting it together, organizing it,
right,
no.
right.
It really comes down to, is the discussion going to influence a decision of the body
Right.
in the future, right?
Right.
So you're allowed to talk about your kids and how the weather is and all that.
Well, especially in Keystone where everybody's friends. We're all friends. We're all, we go to parties, events together. We all know each other. So it's very difficult to never talk about anything. It's just that you can't talk about things that you would be reserved to talk about at the council or at our commission.
Here.
And I will say, and also, it is about business of the governing body. For you all, the Heritage Commission. So any one of you can talk to, at any given time, a city councilman or woman about an issue, as long as there's not 2 of y'all there at the same time, or 2 council members. But if one of you wanted to talk to the mayor, you're always welcome to talk to the mayor, and y'all can have an engaging discussion about issues that either of those boards may engage in.
Right.
It just can't be others around.
Just one.
Yeah, and then also for city staff, y'all are always welcome to come and one-on-one engage with multiple members of city staff at the same time. It really comes down to 2 of you all together. So don't feel that you can't come in and talk to staff about issues that may come before the board. That's what we're here to do and help out with.
Thank you. I really appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see where the link is.
Yeah, where is
and I'm
it?
like, wait a minute, it's not on here.
I guess we need to find it.
Did you have anything?
Last month we talked about me taking over the social media for
Facebook?
Heritage. Yes. So I was wondering if we could get that today or email this week to me. So, for example, I can start advertising some things or start mentioning some things for the events that we have coming up. Kind of start the ball rolling.
Yeah, that would be great.
Do I need to follow up with you, Wendy?
Is that Wendy?
I don't have any idea.
Good. I don't think we may, but I don't think we have passwords in
That might be
controlling information for that account.
Christine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really what it's gonna be. I
I'm
imagine.
gonna
I
reach
can follow
out,
up with you.
yeah, I'll reach out to Christine first about any passwords or anything. And she's no longer on the Heritage Commission, but she is definitely working with us and, you know, is a friend of the city and the commission. And, she will be happy to help us. So, I'll reach out to her and then maybe I could get you in contact with
Sure.
her and then she could talk to you about, okay. All right, let's see, I don't think there's anything else. Our next, oh no, public comments, because I jumped around. Joni?
No comments.
Okay, thank you for being here tonight, appreciate that support. Okay, so, our next meeting will be October 21st, at 6 p.m.